First of all, then, one has to recognize that a desire is for something that one does not have. You understand, then, if one does not have it, there is an empty vessel. That is, there is something in your reality that has to be filled. One cannot create on top of a filled world. Shall we say then, as an example, if one wants to have a relationship, a partner, then, shall we say, clear out some space. How can such a person come into one's world if one has consumed all the opportunities, all the space around? And that applies to everything else. Often people want to create vast sums of money. Shall we say their attention is focused on money, but there is still no room for it to appear. And they have no idea truly what to use the money for. It is to gain and to gain and to gain and to be a consumer. And when one consumes, one immediately begins to consume everything around one. And so there is, shall we say, an energy field, which I talk a lot about, the fields of influence. Your energy field then is, shall we say, consuming everything that comes into its space. Nobody will be willing to enter into that. Then begins aloneness and many other shall we say, negative results. So, shall we say then, what if one's creation was for self and others? What if your creative potential has an aspect for the benefit of all that one contacts? Then, of course, many more will be attracted into the field of influence. Then you begin to meet those people that will help with the creation. So you meet more helpful people because one is already helpful in oneself. Does this follow what I'm saying? So one's attention then, first of all, is to decide what am I looking to create? What is it that I do not presently have that will be beneficial to myself and to the whole? That is, if I were to have this, how would I be able to help others in the same way? And in doing so, one is attracting, one is not just attracting the object or the focus of the attention, one is attracting into the field of influence many other intentions. Does this follow? One is building one's community for the benefit of everyone. and there is potential in that arrangement. Does this answer the question to some degree?
It does. So what I got out of that was to clear out some space. If we're trying to bring something in or we want to attract something into our lives, make sure there's space for it. And to think about not just self, but others, creating in a way that benefits others, so that works together, and rather than consumes everything around you, it helps build up and uplift, and then ultimately decide what I'm looking to create. Is that right?
That is essentially what I am saying. I wanted to say, when you review the last 7 years, then you begin to look at what am I holding on to that I no longer need? And secondly, is there someone else that would benefit from this? If I am to get rid of it, who can I give it to that will benefit? You understand now? We are, shall we say, stepping into the realm of giving. By giving, one is freeing oneself of things that are no longer useful. One is clearing out the space. So now one has distributed those things that are no longer necessary, useful, or desirable in one's own life. By distributing that, one creates a magnetic opportunity. When there is a hole, shall we say, when there is a vacuum, everything is attracted toward it. Now you have begun the, shall we call it, the law of magnetism. At the moment, it is not focused. But as soon as you put your attention on what it is, with clarity, because the universe cannot deliver what is not being specified. You understand? So, shall we say that you sit for a moment and decide what it is that you want? What size should you have? What will serve best in the current situation? It is not, shall we say, to create for permanency, but shall we say, every small step is one ascends the stairs. Do you understand? One uses that for the moment and maybe passes it on when it is no longer needed. Do you follow what I'm getting at? One is constantly attracting. And this is the other side of everything. You understand, every polarity has another side to it. So shall we say, if you are holding on to something and it is, shall we say, no longer needed or necessary or useful, it will affect your state of being. Illness as a whole is the result of such attitudes. Most illnesses that, shall we call it, suffering, comes from the challenges of living life fully. And living life is to use what is necessary, what is there to use, and releasing it when it is finished. Taking in one's food and releasing it at the other end. If you don't release it, you will suffer. Do you follow what I'm saying? So the act of creation is tied to the whole experience of living.